The election of Donald Trump was a symbol that many people just simply didn't trust government, and he kept saying, we're going to drain the swamp. And unfortunately, that has not been the case. You know, some of his cabinet officers have kind of misused taxpayer money for their own luxury and convenience. But the other part of my research has been promoting ethics within government. We have to lead by example. It's not what I say, it's what I do. And so you want words to inspire, you want words to elevate our thinking, but at the same time, we're watching what is going on. And we're not seeing a lot of examples that lead us to believe that we're having a government that's really paying as much attention to ethics. And after the Watergate scandal, and you had so many people within the administration actually go to jail, including many lawyers go to jail, being disbarred, they thought, my goodness, maybe we need to start teaching ethics. I mean, following the law is not necessarily going to always lead you to do the ethical thing. And so the other thing in public administration is that serving the public interest is first and foremost. Not your interest, the public interest, the interest of the nation. I've listened to many of these presentations of representatives going to their constituents, and the constituents are asking really good questions. They're angry, they're feeling frustrated, but they're asking really good questions. So when you take on that responsibility to represent the people, part of that representation is to listen when they're dissatisfied and to provide answers to the challenging questions they ask you. And I would love to see some of this interaction facilitated by a professional facilitator, so the representative actually goes there and you create an environment where the citizens have a chance to speak and convey their frustration, have a chance to ask the tough questions, but then the representative at the same time gets to speak without being shouted over, but also has the obligation to answer those citizens' questions. We've had groups that have formed because they don't trust government, and sometimes, you know, that trust is not won, they just kind of shout out their anger. I'd like to see groups that come together and really look at what we can do to create a more civil environment and to create alternatives to how we're doing things in this country. Trust is not won by someone just because they're in a position of power. Trust is earned. Trust is something that we strive to attain. And when trust is lost, it takes a long time to rebuild it. And so I think that the political institutions in this country need to start understanding if we want to preserve our democracy and we want a healthy democracy, what we need to be doing is creating different ways of us interacting, listening to one another. With most reform that we've had in the United States, I think it comes from people who say we want to do it in a different way. And it's not necessarily going to come from political leaders that show us the way. It's going to come from active citizens who want to have a better democracy, and they're going to promote ways of interacting and demonstrate that and create environments where people can talk even though they disagree. And I think they're going to see lots of examples of that coming up.